Order 66.
The brief video that you just saw was taken from the Star Wars movie Revenge of the Sith. The main character here is Chancellor Palpatine. He is seen through some of the Star Wars movies as an ally to the Jedi and to those who would be, quote, the good guys. But he's really in disguise and eventually becomes the one who is the chief villain within the Star Wars movies. And in this particular scene, he is calling for the execution of Order 66. This particular reference was to the creation of a clone army that would eventually be the driving force to ending the Jedi, the good guys in the movies. But the reason I refer to it here is because it creates a connection to our Series 66, where we're not looking to execute anyone or create damage to any good guys in our midst, but to think about the 66 books of the Bible. We spent time over the last year looking at the Old Testament, and today we conclude the Old Testament version of Series 66 by looking at the book of Malachi. Malachi is a short, minor prophet in the Old Testament, the last book in the Old Testament, and it really has some interesting and telling things to share with us. But prior to getting into Malachi, I want to tell you a brief story. It's a story about the Butterball Turkey Company. Yes, that company that sells millions of turkeys every November at Thanksgiving. You may not know that the Butterball Company had a helpline for many years where people could call in and get advice about cooking their new bird. And one particular year, the Butterball Company got a call asking about a turkey that someone had in their freezer for 15 years. The lady on the other end of the line asked if this would be safe to serve to her family. The man had not had a question like this before, so he took some time, talked with a colleague, looked some things up, and then got back on the phone. And he said, "Ma'am, I think the turkey will be safe, but being in the freezer for so long, it may not have the flavor and the taste that it would have had when you bought it fresh. And so just to warn you about that." And the woman replies, "Well, thank you very much for your help. I think I'll donate it to the church." Well, my friends, the point of this story is that sometimes we think about the donations to the church or to the needy or to someone else as being our leftovers. Now let's get into the book of Malachi. Some scholars believe that Malachi was not a person at all, but the word Malachi literally means God's messenger. And so it could have been written by anyone of any name that was simply trying to give a message to God. And really the bulk of the book, it's only 3 chapters long, talks about the apostasy and hypocrisy of the people of Israel. Apostasy is an abandonment of a religious idea. Hypocrisy is saying one thing and doing another. And the people of Israel were guilty of this. In chapter 1, it accuses the Israelites of bringing crippled animals in as an offering to God. Now, of course, the earlier parts of the Old Testament describe the sacrifice that was supposed to be made was supposed to be pure, blameless, without blemish or spot. People were bringing in crippled animals not as a sacrifice, but as something to try to please God or to please the priest or just to simply make themselves look good. Not at all as a offering of sacrifice and praise to God. In chapter 3, there is an important and famous passage in Malachi that really is pressing and telling to us today. In that particular passage, it tells us, or God tells us, that we are robbing him of what he wants. The people, of course, reply as we might. "How are we robbing you, God? We've never taken anything from you." And God's reply is this: "You are robbing me because you have not brought the entire tithe into my household. You've kept something back. I've given you everything, and I've only asked for you to give a tithe or a tenth off the top." Tithing is difficult for us who are not spiritually mature. And even for those of us who are, sometimes we see things from our own way and our own perspective, and we think we have to take things, care of things for ourselves. But Malachi presses us into our faith and asks us to think critically about how it is we're practicing our faith in the world. How is it that we are giving to God? Not just to the church on a Sunday morning as the offering plate is passed, but how is it that we're giving what God's given to us back to his service in the world. God goes on to say that I want you to do this. I want you to bring a tithe into my house so that my house may be filled with food. Food for the priests and for those who gather, the needy that the priest would offer ministry to. But then God offers a great promise in this. He says that if you bring in the tithe, if you sacrifice in this way, will I not open up the heavens and flood you with so many blessings that you cannot even imagine? Through the practice of giving, we learn that God blesses more than we could ever bless or give back to him. This seems counter to the world's ideas, but in our world of faith, God shows us a different way. Malachi wants to confront us with our hypocrisy, the things we say we believe, but we act differently. He wants to confront us with the ideas that we are not all that we're cracked up to be. But he also wants to challenge us to put our faith into practice, to give as God has given to us. And this is my hope of what you will receive from this today, that you will give your very best to God and see that God will continue to pour out blessings to you. I hope this blesses you. I hope this journey through the Old Testament has also been helpful. And I invite you, as always, to engage in Scripture, specifically this week with the prophet of Malachi. And I invite you to join us as we continue into the New Testament in the weeks ahead. God bless you, and have a great day.